널 기다렸어.
That would be a good way to do it.
Yeah.
But I guess we're going to find out if SOS is able to win. And to be honest, I'm actually feeling that SOS is going to win this one because Trust, I mean, he's on a huge loss streak, 4 in a row.
Yeah.
He can't seem to find that drive that he had in the first round robin that we had. And he hasn't taken a single win in the second one, whereas SOS is the exact opposite, basically.
That game we saw on King Stage Station broke my heart. I'm like, I don't know what you're doing. I don't know what you're thinking.
It's the pressure. I mean, it's getting late in the night. Everybody's getting tired here. The casters, the players, we're all
what time is it right now?
trying to put
like
it
10?
in. You could
9:30.
You could even feel it from Gumio in that fight. I think a lot of that was just like, I've won. I just need to attack him. I'm so far ahead. I have this one. And then he just fights into Colossi, and botches the fight.
He was up 70-plus army supply for so long.
Yeah.
And he was like, if I mess up one thing, I could lose everything. So I'm going to make sure it's exactly perfect the way I engage. I have the better economy, I have the better army.
After the fight that he botched. But yeah, I see what you're saying. Here we go. Trust versus SOS.
All right. 4 losses in a row. If he loses here, he still has a chance. But we will go into a tiebreaker between SOS and Trust. There's no direct comparison as these are best of 2s.
He looks pretty awake now, man. I think he's been shook awake by all these losses he's taken.
All right, SOS. He had the roughest time out of anyone in this group. This is the return of $O$. Went 0-3, won a map versus Curious and lost his Trust. He was at the beginning at the midpoint, 1-4. Then won 3 of his 4 matches that came afterwards. And this is the first of 2 wins at least he will have to take to advance in the tiebreaker.
Yeah, and he's only dropped a game to Classic since the second round robin. So props to him. That's a hard guy to defeat. Nobody could really do it today. We're about to get into it, man. Trust.
Well, important to note, this is SOS's away map, which if it wasn't, then this wouldn't even be discussed because he has to win on away map to tie away maps. If Trust wins this, the group ends.
We're going to do it right now. Game number 29 on Dust Towers, Trust versus SOS. What a fitting map to end it on, Dust Towers. You guys all know this one. Up in the top right, in the red, the Protoss player, it is Trust.
Literally tilted right now. Down to the bottom of the map. In blue, his opponent fighting his way back. It is SOS. Now, don't get too excited, SOS fans. A win here does not guarantee his advancement. He will need to win the tiebreaker, of which the format has not yet been confirmed. I think, personally, it should be the same. It's a best of 2, where you have an away map and a home map. Otherwise, the map would have to be decided purely randomly by a dice roll or a drawing out of a hat from a third party if it's going to be just one best of 1. But I think, in the fairness and the design of the group, I would give them one best of 2. You have to win both maps. If it's a tie, we start over. Best of 2. You both get to choose your map, and you play on your opponent's map. If they both pick the same map, it doesn't matter. But like,
in a perfect world, they'd play a best of 5, but we don't have that much time, So we'll have to go by what the TV station wants to do and what the PDs want to do.
Another way of settling the dispute would be to flip a coin and give one person ban priority, and then ban the maps one after the other until a final map is decided. That's another way.
That'd be interesting. I like that, actually.
That's another way to choose the map on which it will be played.
If you're going to do best of 1, that is.
That way it's like somewhat less random than the drawing out of a box.
To be honest, both these players are going to pick Dust Towers.
Yeah, actually, the first time they played against each other, let's see, I'm going to look at the data. They played on, it's like back in the day, Dust Towers, and they're playing on it again. So both of them did choose Dust Towers. So it's a high chance that if we did the veto, it would end up this way.
Maybe we see Frost. Someone wants to channel a bit of Classic. But let's talk a little bit about this game. This is a very important game. We already have a Sentry start.
It's a weird build from SOS. He's going to get the sentry early to deter Cheese. He got a much faster Nexus, and also it's going to allow him to scout freely. It costs the same as a Mothership Core in gas, but less minerals. It's extra safety, and he can hallucinate a Phoenix early on to get a lot of information, which is undeniable scouting, which the Mothership Core is not. The Mothership Core scout can't be denied. Twilight Council coming up for for Trust. He finds himself against this Stargate play.
He's making this pylon here, and there's no Mothership Core in sight.
It's
this
a
is
fake.
A fake.
Trust is not falling for this. Sees the sentry, and he absolutely knows there's just no physical way.
He's committing to the sentry there. I don't
think he gets this, right?
No way. That's a mistake, and he just barely gets out of there. You can't fight against that. I mean, that's not a very common situation for these players to be in. You know, if that happens every game, then you know you can't fight it, right? But because he did that, he doesn't get the scout on the Stargate, and that is huge. That was his one scouting unit, and he threw it away trying to snipe a sentry when he could not win the battle.
This doesn't bode well. Obviously, it's one small mistake, and luckily the Mothership Core lives with 2 health. I talked about this before. The shields on the Mothership Core are much smaller than the health. In fact, the health makes up more than twice of its total, I guess, hit points. It's like a 2-to-1 ratio. So when you have that little health left, I made the joke earlier that you should just kill your Mothership Core to get a new one to increase its survivability, because it's just so fragile, and you might not actually get all of its value if there's a crazy fight like that. SOS is about to have his first Mothership Core with full health. Obviously going to start building its energy. SOS is going to make this a Phoenix game. He's getting a second Stargate.
And Trust has no idea.
Yeah, he's totally hidden.
I think SOS might be doing this because he knows Trust has no idea. He even gets an observer out here. He can snipe any observers that come across to his base. This probe is going to get a good scout and see that there is no third Nexus yet. So he knows something's going on in that base. You're not just chilling there and not doing much. Even going to put down a pylon.
Well, this is smart because he knows that SOS doesn't have any units outside. That Zealot does come out. He warps it in on the outside. If he actually ended up killing this probe, which would be really funny, obviously it's not going to happen with the Zealot and the Mothership Core out here. If he killed the probe, it would be huge. Even going to Cyber Core block. I'm telling you, man, Trust has proven to me that if he gets his act together and plays at his best, he is a champion quality player. I know it maybe be like, it's too early to say, it's just one group. I'm like, no. If he gets through his nerve issues, he is doing intelligent things I've never seen before.
He's just a fantastic player. You know, he's proving it here in this group. It's really awesome to see.
Look how ahead his Nexus is. SOS is like, I've had enough. I'm going to overcharge this. He's fed up. Nexus comes down.
And keep in mind, there's small stuff that Trust can see that may tip him off, but he still doesn't exactly know the tech here. He sees, okay, your Mothership Core is late. He knows by the energy, right?
Oh, he's going for the core!
Oh, look at that!
This is what I'm talking about. He doesn't even have enough health to press F twice to get the photon overcharges. That's how low that health was, and that's why.
And these photon overcharges, they don't last that long.
No.
Okay, he can come in here. That's a lot of stalkers, though. He does have to back off for now.
Oh man, this is
the sentries. It's his playground. He can take whatever he wants.
It's the shoehorn effect, man. It's happening in a PvP, but if your ground army has to walk around the U shape from the main to the third, or from the backdoor base to the third base, it takes so long by ground. If you don't have a Mothership Core, you're out of luck on the defense. 12 probe lead already for SOS. The fact that earlier on he had a late Nexus is insignificant now. And he's going double Void Rays, it looks like, to follow this up because he sees a mass Stalker army. He's like, he's forcing a Stalker army, and he's countering it with Void Rays, Immortals, ground upgrades for the Immortals. This is a very SOS-esque thing to do. He's the puppet master here. He's pulling all the strings.
Yeah. Someone else would just play it standard. They're like, oh, I'm ahead. I'll just transition into the standard build. But SOS is a very cerebral player. He thinks about exactly what his position in the game is. What is his opponent doing? What does his opponent not have? What does he lack? What can I take advantage of?
And he's continuing to take advantage of this. By the way, the Mothership Core for Trust, not even remade yet. It's nearly completed. Trust is going double upgrades. He's trying to take risks while behind to catch up.
That's something he does consistently, too. I like that a lot about his play. We don't see that all too often out of players. They get behind, they kind of just play standard and then die 5 minutes later. But he really tries to push the envelope, especially on this very large map pool, like meaning that the maps are large from the pool. You got Frost, you got like even Invader, you get Dust Towers, Frozen Temple, all these big maps, and he's taking risks.
All right, Phoenix coming in. Texas third base. He's trying to get information. He sees only the one Void Ray, which isn't a tell enough of the rest of the Void Rays that were coming out. In fact, actually, did he continue making those? I want to check. Only two.
He's only got 2, yeah.
So he didn't make the third and the fourth. It's obviously going to be very powerful versus Stalkers, and maybe he was concerned that Stalker Force would hit him like really soon, and he wanted to have that immediate defense. But SOS taking a lead in every way except for the upgrades. Trust is, again, being greedy with this, and it's paying off.
And you know what? If we go into the late game, and the late gate game, and we go to 4 bases, 5 bases, and these players get similar compositions, Trust is going to be in a great spot because he just took that risk. And SOS can't exactly move across this giant map and punish Trust yet. He's making a bunch of Archons. He's getting near that point if he wants to try to pressure at least. See what he wants to do here.
Just really, I'm trying to assess every piece of information on this map right now as we do slow things down to a crawl. Composition-wise, Trust is making mostly Archons, which is the right choice. When you get closer to max, the more Archons you have, the better. It's funny because army size doesn't actually convey army cost. And when you look at like 2 maxed out armies, the army that has the Archons is just worth so much more. And it's just 300 a pop on every Archon in gas. That's the same cost in gas for Disruptor. Let me think about that. Very, very expensive. 2 more Archons on the way. The one thing he's not building for this massive Archon army is shields. I'd rather see him get +1 shields than the +3 armor in a second here with his forges. Moving across here, he has Blink. He knows he can escape. He's going to try to grab an Archon on his way out.
Nice Spiker here from SOS, and it turns out to be not worth it for Trust because he actually took health damage, whereas the Archons are mostly shield. They'll regenerate all of their health, you can call it. Phoenix
SOS is going for armor of his own. Let's see if Trust makes a switch to shields here. I think it's just going to be worth so much more. Shields affect every ground unit and will always obviously continue to affect the Archons most of all, which will affect the +2 armor will affect them for very little on their 10 health.
And if you're going into heavy late-game air units, too, the Tempests, even Carriers, like SOS has done it before in PvP. So both these players, I feel like, especially with the Fleet Beacon coming out here for Trust, you may want to go for that shield for sure. See what he does.
Attack for +3 first. +3 armor. And the Korean commentators are on the same page as me here. Yeah. I'm like, I want shields.
I want my shields. Where are my shields?
Obviously, the +3 armor will affect most the Zealots. And he is going big on the Zealots, as you guys can see. He fears the attack that is on his doorstep now.
Yeah, and this many Archons are going to do a huge amount against this many Zealots.
Remember, this is SOS's tournament life on the line we're watching right now.
10 Archons in this mix. He's pressuring that 4th, but now he wants to take the fight. And here we go.
Okay, both sides, Archons need to be at the front. Zealots trying to come in, a good time warp, and SOS is going to back off.
He's going to back off. The one big advantage he has in this army composition is 7 Immortals to 2.
Trust only has 1 Observer, and SOS is warping in DTs, 3 of them. Keep that in mind. I'm going to keep an eye on that Observer. He lost it! He lost it! And there's DTs! Okay, this is a huge turning point potentially. Look at this. The DT's just now starting into the fight. I don't think he realized. 3 more DTs on the way.
He doesn't know it. He's not even making an Observer at the moment.
He doesn't realize he's too tunnel visioned here. And I think that's game.
We've seen this before. Here
Where's
we go
the Observer?
again.
He's not making one. He falls back to the cannons, but he needs an Observer. And now it's on the way. It's too late though. That could have been his fight. Without those DTs, he wins the fight easily. Look at how hard it was for SOS to win the fight with the DTs. Like, even with the DTs and no Observer, how hard was it for him to win that fight?
It's so true. But at the same time, Trust does hang on. He is behind. Yes, there's a Nexus being made.
I'm not even entirely sure what the point of this is.
If that's BM, I'm like, dude,
it's going to be
not cool.
Faster warp-ins, A more central location to recall from if a fight goes poorly. I mean, if he recalls, he's not out of position.
That's the only reason you would make a Nexus instead of a gateway.
I don't think this is BM.
He's got more health. There has to be a reason.
It's also going to give him extra chrono.
It's true. it's small, but it's true.
He is going to hit 3-3, or actually 3-2.
Yeah,
SOS is down one set of armor, and that's part of the reason why that fight went so poorly for him. Trust is getting a mothership with some of his extra gas. That base is not mining, but it's still alive.
He's got to wait for 3. +3 attack. He goes in before. Okay. Here we go again.
Maybe he can grab that observer. It's right up here at the front. It does take some damage, but stays alive. It's actually such a close fight. SOS has to back off. Some of these Archons low on shields.
He comes back in, though, and so many Archons still alive. The Zealot's pushing forward in the Time Warp. SOS is always scared to fight in there. It's actually SOS's Time Warp this time around.
I don't know if SOS should be backing into this, though, or actually advancing into this.
He's going straight into a concave, and that's never what you want.
Okay. Remember, SOS does have a better economy, but if he gets wiped here, he's not going to be able to recover. He killed the Observer again!
But this time, Trust knows that second Observer is being built right now, and it's about to finish.
This is actually
he has
insane.
one now.
I think it's time for SOS to just back off, kill this Nexus, and get out. This base he has is keeping him alive. It's keeping him ahead in economy. And there's no reason to push the issue here.
Yeah. You're exactly right. Just get out now.
Killing that mothership is going to be difficult. It's going to be very difficult. Another reason why this Nexus is valuable, actually, is it can rally a mothership core straight right back into the action from a closer location. Mothership core is pretty slow. That's something to keep in mind.
It's true, but he's not even making it, you know?
It's also going to give him somewhat of an area to work with against mass Zealots, where you can actually have the Nexus to hide behind. And despite the fact the mothership is here, he has an observer with his army, he's making another one, and now he's got an Oracle. He can tag everything. The mothership can just easily be ignored. SOS have the army lead now, and he has +3 finally.
And the Oracle, he tags everything. The cloak is not going to work with the mothership.
Cloak probes going to mine at long distance from this base. SOS is just trying to trade over and over and over again. Gonna go ahead and snipe that Oracle. That's a huge win here. Everything is tagged, as you mentioned. The mothership's starting to take damage, but it's tanking a lot.
It's taking a lot more Warpins coming in here from Trust. And this is the most extended fight we've had in a very long time.
Yeah.
This has been going on for like 2 minutes. It's the same fight.
Okay, I think SOS needs to be careful, though. He's trying to just wear him down because he has the better economy. All right, here we go. Cloak activated again here. This might not be a fight SOS can retreat from. He's got a lot of immortals at the back, though.
Oh, man, and the Zealot's just doing so much here for Trust. Even going to blink forward.
Okay,
he's very confident here.
He's going to have another warp in just a second. Here it comes. 2 more Archons, 2 more Zealots. The cannon can kill the Observer, and that means DTs have value.
With the Chrono Nexus, do the warp-ins happen faster?
I don't think so. I think it's just he's just chronoing some other faraway building somewhere else, making his gateways go faster.
Okay.
It makes his gateways go faster, like, yeah, but only one of them. Each chrono could be applied to one gateway. All right, he's going to go ahead and stop this forward fortress.
And the game continues.
As everyone holds their breath at home, every SOS fan. This has been one of the best groups, one of the best days of my life.
Yeah, this is definitely better than Group A, that's for sure. A lot more entertaining here, and could turn out to be the most entertaining group of the 4.
One of the best groups of all time, hands down. Tell your friends about this one. And don't spoil it for anyone who hasn't seen it, because people are going to love rewatching these VODs. All right, the angle here is good for Trust. He still has the mothership on his side. Ranged unit advantage goes to SOS. Right now, he has... Actually, no, he's 7 Immortals to 7. 8 Archons to 5. Trust has the better army. And he has the better armor upgrade as well still, as far as I'm concerned, right? Yeah, he does. He has the armor lead.
3-2.
Okay, he's going to be fighting on SOS's terms, though, with these photon cannons here.
I love what he's doing with the whole position. Slowly pick at the Nexus, force SOS to engage into your concave, and here he comes!
And remember, SOS does not have that armor! He's going in with the Zealots as best as he can. Both players dropping in supply massively here. SOS needs to turn these Oracles on and keep fighting with them. This is such a close fight!
It's so close! The supplies are the same!
They're exactly the same! Barrier usage is better, though! The barrier usage is actually winning this fight for SOS! He had barriers. You don't want him that fight. He's still down 11 supply. He's down in upgrades. He's down now 20 army supply, down an upgrade, and he's winning these fights from better micro, better barrier usage, better staggering on that, and he has the better economy still. The 5th base was never remade for Trust, and if you look at the resources in the top right, you can see that SOS is still massively ahead in that regard.
He's
and the longer this goes on, it's better.
He's long distance mining from the 5th base, and now SOS is even sending a DT over there to make sure that none of that long distance mining crap happens anymore. He's going to shut all that down.
That is in that shuttle an Immortal, right? It's not a... Okay, it was an Archon, never mind. Thought it might have actually been a Disruptor, which would be a cool thing to Tekken at this point, let's be real. Could add actually so much value at these little stalemate hold position fights.
Kill all the Zealots in one go, there you go. This Nexus is very low. If Trust can get on top of this Nexus, maybe he's got a shot.
He needs to do more than that. He brought his probes. He knows this game is over if he doesn't win this fight. He needs to end the game right now, or we are going to tiebreakers.
And here he comes.
There's cannons here. I don't think he'll break this. Never in a million years. Never. Unless he kills observers. SOS only has 1 observer, but he has 2 oracles. And everything's already revealed.
Yeah. Everything's revealed.
He has to kill the observer and the oracles, I think. That's his only chance. Maybe try to grab some feedbacks on those.
That'd be a nice idea, actually. It doesn't look like he just wants more Archons for now.
He has the better Archon count, and he does have the armor lead. That 1 Archon's going to go down for free.
Archon. Oh, man. That's not good. Taking a look at supplies right now, Trust, as you were saying, he just doesn't have the economy. Not like SOS.
Oh, fighting up this ramp is going to be difficult, too. But he has, again, that better Archon count. He's just going to go for it here.
I don't think he can. You can't attack in there. That's asking to lose. But he has to.
He's gonna do something. There's no Vortex in this game anymore. That Mothership's not going to do too much except cloak. Those Oracles are far at the front. He's trying to bait with them.
I like that from SOS. He's not biting the bait.
Whoever wins this fight wins the game. Time Warp, very well placed. Here we go. 30 supply up is SOS. He's down in upgrades. The Archon count was better for Trust. Can he win this fight? I don't think so.
From behind, and he gets the full surround. And GG!
We are going to tiebreakers. SOS down so hard in this series. And it brings us to 5-5, 3 away matches apiece.
Trust, you can see it, the KT coach. He's unhappy, to say the least. And we are going to tiebreakers. We're going to have to figure out what exactly it is. It's very important, obviously, for deciding who is going to win this one.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
We might get an update in our ears, or we might find out in an upcoming break what the tie-break format is going to be. I already told you guys 2 possible ways it could be. Best of 2s, Spelling Bee style, 2 wins to advance. Or it could be map vetoes, 1 best of 1, sudden death.
Random draw.
Random draw. Oh, that's terrible. I don't agree with this.
Yeah, well. They
should both just agree to play on Dust Towers.
I would actually like that. Replay on Dust Towers, to be honest. They both picked Dust Towers already. What, are you going to go on Arena to decide who gets into the next one?
Well,
I agree with you. I disagree with this choice, but either way, that's the way it is. The rules have been made.
I mean, we are
probably in the interest, because the chances that both these players pick the same map are probably very low. So in the interest of making sure that it doesn't go overtime, we're just going to do random draw, best of 1. It's kind of unfortunate, but
yeah,
it's also going to make it interesting, especially if it's like Invader, Arena, Frost would be nice to see a big map again.
It's 10 p.m. now here in Korea. It's getting late.
Hour number 9 has completed.
We're running way over broadcast time. Both coaches, I think, are informing their players of the way that this is going to be decided. 1 best of 1, random draw. I actually hope we get to see that draw done on camera. That would be sick. I'm like, I'll go down and draw it myself.
Yeah, I don't want them to tell me, oh, it's Invader in my ear. You know, I'd like to see it.
Let's get like a random fan from the audience to make the draw, okay?
Get up on stage there. That'd be pretty cool.
All right, they're going to go do it together, I think. SOS getting up. Oh, it's rock,
like
paper, scissors. You said? I'm not entirely sure what's going on. Why he make a rock, paper, scissors gesture.
Oh, man. I hope it's not rock, paper, scissors.
Maybe it's rock, paper, scissors to decide if you want to pick the map or not.
Okay, guys, we're going to go into a 5-minute break first, and we'll be right back with the tiebreaker. Don't miss it.
Put the rules back on the shelf. Let such a freak out, be yourself, live loud.